How's it going, lovely people? Hope you're well, and welcome to our new series called Kop-ish 11s, where we make a starting 11 based on scenarios and situations. We'll try and make these teams as realistic as possible, so don't expect too much shoehorning because we want these teams to be balanced and functional. On the first edition of this, we are making an 11 based on the best players to play for Liverpool and not win a trophy while they are playing for Liverpool Football Club. Before Liverpool secured their 6th Champions League trophy back in 2019, we went 7 years without a trophy, and before that we went 6. And in that time and previously, we've had some top players who have never lifted a trophy while wearing the famous red jersey. But before you sit back and enjoy this video, then slate us in the comments for making mistakes and getting players wrong, make sure you smash the like button, give us a subscribe, and turn on notifications to spread the word. In the famous words of Fabrizio, here we go. For this team, I'll be employing a 4-2-3-1 formation, and to start off in goal, we have American legend Brad Friedel. Friedel joined Liverpool in 1997 to deputise for David James. After realising he wasn't going to become Liverpool's regular #1 shot stopper, he left in 2000 after making 31 appearances for the Reds without winning a trophy. He went on to have a very good playing career, playing over 550 games for Blackburn Rovers, Aston Villa and Tottenham Hotspur combined, and he made it into the PFA Team of the Season in 2002-03. At left back, we have Alvaro Arbeloa. The Spaniard joined Liverpool on the 31st of January 2007, and while many of us didn't know about him, he turned out to be a shrewd bit of business by Rafa Benitez. He made his debut at left back against Barcelona at the Nou Camp, and he kept Messi quiet for the game as Liverpool picked up a famous 2-1 win in Catalonia before securing their place in the next round at Anfield. I mean, I guess Barcelona must be, sick at the sight of playing Liverpool in two-legged European ties. I mean, 2001, 2007, 2019. So I lost myself for a second. Forgive me. Arbeloa was a reliable fullback for 2 years and was part of the 2008-2009 team that almost pipped Manchester United to the Premier League. However, he would have to leave Liverpool to win silverware as he wasn't able to in a 2-year stint at Anfield. Our first centre-back is Mamadou Sakho. The president of the Liverpool country was a cult figure and was well on his way to becoming one of our best centre-backs during the latter part of his Liverpool tenure before an incorrect suspension derailed his season in 2015-16, meaning he missed Liverpool's Europa League final, and then his lack of discipline saw Klopp show him the door. The Frenchman joined Liverpool at the beginning of the 2013-14 season and came close to winning the Premier League that season. He also came close to winning a League Cup, where he actually got injured in the final, coming off with what seemed to be concussion, and then obviously missed out on the Europa League as well. It just wasn't to be for the Frenchman, and he left on a permanent transfer in August 2017. Things could have been so different if a few decisions weren't made, but hey-ho, as man like Matt says, we move. Our second centre-back has a reputation for being one of the nicest players off the field, and undoubtedly has one of the best combined player chants of all time. It's Kolo Touré. Kolo was no stranger to collecting trophies and picking up honours at Arsenal and Manchester City, and even Celtic. However, he didn't have the same luck at Liverpool. Like Sakho, he missed out on the Premier League and was a runner-up in the League Cup and Europa League. In fact, we're the only club Kolo played for without collecting any trophies, as he concluded his playing career with Celtic. Just wasn't to be for the Ivorian. At right back, we have Nathaniel Cline. The South Londoner was ever present for Brendan Rodgers after joining Liverpool in 2015 and remained ever present in the team under Jurgen Klopp until he picked up an injury at the beginning of the 17-18 season. Many feared when he was ruled out because of his consistency and type of play. However, a certain young Scouser came into the team, and that actually spelt the end for Nathaniel Cline. And despite being at the club in 18-19 and 19-20, he was ineligible to receive a Champions League or Premier League medal. A sad ending to a player with so much promise. Our first central midfielder is Argentine legend and one of the best defensive midfielders in recent times, Javier Mascherano. Monster Mash formed one of Liverpool's best midfield trios alongside Xabi Alonso and Steven Gerrard. He joined the club initially on loan in February 2007 before making the move permanent a year later. A brilliant player who rarely gave the opposition midfield time to breathe. He left the club in ugly fashion in 2010 without winning a single trophy at the club before going on to enjoy success at Barcelona in one of their best ever teams. An absolute monster on the pitch, a fantastic footballer. However, at Liverpool, he just wasn't able to collect any trophies. Our second central midfielder is the owner of one of the best bicycle kick goals in the club's illustrious history, Emre Can. Brought to the club by Brendan Rodgers in a forgettable transfer window, Emre Can was one of the better signings and bright sparks. A player who could shoot, dribble, pass and tackle, he had all the raw tools to succeed. However, he never quite hit the heights that were expected of him, and had he stayed and tried to fight for his place instead of going to Juventus, he could have realised his potential. However, he left Liverpool without any trophies just as we started collecting honours again. Oh Emre, what could have been? What could have been? On the left wing, I'm going with Yossi Ben Ayoun. Brought to the club in the summer of 2006 to replace the outgoing Luis Garcia, the Israeli international came with a reputation of a great dribbler but lacked end product. However, at Liverpool, he showed he did have an end product. He scored and created some really important goals for us, including a late winner against Fulham at Craven Cottage in 2009, but he was unable to lift any trophies at Anfield. Not as a regular at Liverpool, but when he was called upon, he often delivered. The Israeli sensation Yossi Ben Ayoun. On the right wing, we have Raheem Sterling. Sterling broke onto the scene after showing he was levels above youth team football, making his Premier League debut at 17 years old against Manchester City in a 2-2 draw in 2012. We all know what happened with his transfer saga and, ultimately not too friendly relationship between Sterling and Liverpool fans since, but it can't be forgotten how influential he was in the 2013-14 season. That team almost won the league, and he was a pivotal, vital cog in that machine. And while he went on to win honours at Manchester City and still continues to do so, I think he wishes he had won something at Liverpool. However, it wasn't to be for the West Londoner. In the number 10 role, we have Felipe Coutinho. El Magico is one of the most exciting players to play for Liverpool in recent years and was at one point our talisman. However, the Brazilian attacker left in a well-documented transfer saga before he had the chance to win any trophies in a team that revitalised his career and helped him to become one of the best players in the world before his move to Barcelona. But without him, let's be honest, we wouldn't have reached some of the heights that we did reach. But he did decide to move on, and while some fans would have wished he stayed, without him leaving, we would have never have signed Alisson, Virgil van Dijk and Fabinho. So, as our famous anthem says, at the end of a storm, there's a golden sky. And finally, our striker for this team is none other than El Nino Fernando Torres. Out of all the players I've put in this team, Torres' inclusion hurts the most. By far. By far. When he signed for us back in 2007, we all knew we were getting a top player. But he even exceeded the expectations of even the most optimistic fan. In the early part of his Liverpool career, he was the best striker in world football. But for all his goals, his partnership with Gerrard, his accolades for Spain, he never got to raise a trophy while being a Liverpool player. What's even more crazy is despite this, he went to Chelsea, his failed tenure at Chelsea, he won an FA Cup, Europa League and Champions League. Bet you any money he'd trade all of those for one major trophy in front of the adoring Liverpool fans. However, for El Nino, it just wasn't meant to be. So that's it, people. Let us know what you think of this team. Would you change anything? Would you add or replace any personnel? Make sure you follow us on social media, like the video, comment below, and subscribe if you're new to the channel. Thank you for watching. Stay safe, stay blessed. We are Kopish. See you soon, everyone. Take care.